Hey guys, Big J here from the Centre Bounce. In today's video, we're looking at how my team went in round 13. I know you haven't seen me doing one of these videos for a while, but stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Go Roos. We won a game. I'm really excited. North Melbourne. And I guess kind of before we go into my team review and have a look how my players scored, yes, I did have some North Melbourne players in there, and they scored all right. But mate, North Melbourne finally getting a win. I was speaking to someone about it today, and it was a case of, hey, at least the win happened now. It didn't happen round 23, round 24 last year, where it was all the case of, well, Harley Reid is Victorian, he wants to go to North Melbourne, blah, blah, blah. But North didn't win, and then, well, that was it. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm very, very happy. You should have seen the relief. My heart was pounding. Boom, 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 boom. Last 2 minutes or so. Was it an Elliot Yeo free? Was it not? I think time will tell. And, the AFL's come out and said, hey, look, it was a free. Some fans, I know Joe's up in the air saying it wasn't a free. I thought he drug it in. Joe thinks not. What can you do? I think what hurt West Coast a lot more was the 2 goals, 15 behinds coming into the third or fourth quarter more than anything else. I mean, if they'd kicked, 2 or 3 more goals out of their set shots, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So, yeah, sucks to be them. Very, very happy as a North fan. Mate, North song joining the chorus has been playing in my house all week. Nice to be on the winners table. And, in Supercoach this week, I was on the winners table too. We went up in rank. I think I won 3 out of 4 leagues, which was great. My tips were good. If you've been keeping up with our tips, I think I got 5 this week. Missed out on the Richmond one. I didn't even tip North. And then I think I tipped Melbourne to win. And sucks for Petrarca. I mean, someone who, what I've seen, such a nice guy, and going through that, there's talk today that he might not play for the whole rest of the regular season. So make sure you keep notice of yourself. If you get injured, come off, do all those things. I play sports myself, and, making sure that, hey, all those injuries and problems that you might have, get them looked out for. Obviously, one of those things that you can't really, you know what I mean. Let's check out the team. Guys, this week we scored 1950, and I was projected a good 2150 before kind of a few players got injured, and some real dud scores in my team that I'm very, very happy that I probably won't be having in my team anymore. As you can see, they're projected 1200, but once you take all the guys off the bench, put them back on field, life kind of changes a little bit there. So team value is looking good, which is nice. And then, 11 trades. Currently, I have 2 players left to fill. 1 defender and 1 forward. We know from last week from the live stream. Brought in Dylan Moore, wasn't that good. Brought in, I don't know who I brought in. I think I brought in Zorko as well. But it is what it is. These are the Supercoach things. 2 guys who are top, clear top 6s, and very, very happy to be finishing off that line. Now, round 14 really kind of, there's a few things to have a look at in round 14. And if you have a look at my current team, let me put Luke Rock. Let's talk about how the team went. Dacos 64, very, very happy. I actually had him as captain for a majority of the week. Didn't end up having him as captain. 64, very, very happy there. Sheasel 129, fantastic. And the beautiful thing with Sheasel, North Melbourne got a win, yes, but even when he doesn't play backline, he just gets involved. I think he was involved in 6 of the 11 scoring chains that, we obviously scored on the weekend. So, yeah, very, very happy with his performance. Any position he plays, barring probably ruck due to the height difference, though they had Marlon Pickett as ruck, so I'm sure Sheasel will be able to figure something out. And small forward probably are the 2 positions that maybe he can't play. I'm sure he'd give key forward or key defender a good run. Nick Martin, 92. Now, Joe's not happy about Essendon, and I'm not happy about Nick Martin. He needs to learn how to kick goals a lot more, and if he gets moved around the field, which we've been seeing as Ridley's come back, Redmond's, obviously, I think he might be out this week, has kind of pushed a few other players around. Nick Martin hasn't been playing halfback as much. His scoring's not been great. He's been getting touches. It's just not been effective, and that's always been the issue for him. Whitfield, 108, very, very happy there. I know if you follow us on Twitter, you would have seen not so happy with Whitfield's score, but he he did quite well on the weekend. Sexton, 87, scored 120 odd in fantasy, 87 in Supercoach. Generally, it's opposite because efficiency calculates for better score in Supercoach than it was as in fantasy. So he must have got a lot of touches and just kicked to the opposition or kicked out on the full, or they were intercepted. So kind of sucks. Closey, 48. We did keep him. Let me just check. Maybe that works better for us. We did keep Closey over Howes, and yeah, 48's not great. Howes did worse. He's getting traded this week. Luke Ryan obviously didn't play. Sucks to have Zach Reed. I currently now have 2 dead rookies who I don't think will ever play again. And then Garcia, who looks like he might not ever play again as well. Bont, vice captain. Flanders, now he's one I should have gone and vice captain. And I think from now on, whoever plays St Kilda, I'm going to vice captain their halfback if I've got them in my team, because they just give up so many points. Dane Zorko, really good vice captain shout this week. And he plays the first game, so not too bad there. Zach Merritt, 125, fantastic. Sam Walsh. Now, the problem with Sam Walsh is he gets touches and then bombs it long every single time. That's all I'm going to say. So I've got 4 frauds in my team that I really wish I could get rid of. Jack Steele, 98. Nice to see him bounce back. I didn't think he'd get to 98. So great that he did that. It kind of sucks, though. I think he's got a tag coming up in the next few weeks. And yeah, St Kilda's midfield troubles just kind of go from bad to worse. I think Brad Crouch is out for a further period. Obviously, he was touted to come back and play some BFL. Yeah. Hopefully, there's some good cover for him, because if there's not, we could be getting some more crappier Steel scores in the future, which really sucks. I wish I didn't have him. I think from memory, he's now cheaper than when I brought him in, which sucks. That's just not what you want. Tuke Miller, 58. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Tom Green, 80. Yeah. Sullivan, 48. Not too bad. We'll take it, considering we had no one else. There's one thing I'll say about Tuke Miller and Green before I trade them out. Yes, spoilers, I'm looking to trade out both of these players this week. I think some corrective trades are in order, and it's the right time for me to do it, especially with Tuke Miller not playing. The thing with these 2 players is I'm not going to say the game has gone past them, but it feels like the game has gone far past their game style. Tuke Miller keeps getting tagged, and obviously that doesn't, you can't hold that against him too much. But his kick to handball ratio is not good for Supercoach. I don't care about fantasy, but not good for Supercoach. And what it means is whenever the Gold Coast wants to transition the ball really quick, and this is the same with Tom Green, right? The stoppage is there. They've got so many good players that will just get it, run, kick it forward. That's it. That's not these slower players. If there's not a contested ball and they've got 3 or 4 other players that can take contested balls, they're only getting handballs in transition. And sometimes they just get passed by. And it's like, cool, well, you take the opposition's best mid every week and you get a handful of touches. But we've seen from recent weeks, poor scores. I mean, Tuke Miller was on 30 for the longest period of time. There were rookies who came on at 3/4 time and outscored him. Yes, he was tagged. Cool. But I think a lot of that has to do with the game and the game style. If it was let's say a Flanders that got tagged, or if it was maybe not Sexton, but you know what I mean. I think a Matt Rowell would have been more influential. And then Tuke Miller probably wouldn't have even got more than a 58. He was very lucky that he got a goal late in the game that boosted up his scoring. Similar to a Tom Green. GWS like to move the ball fast. If he's not part of the transition, he won't get his own ball. That's it. If it's contested, cool. If it's not, it leads to like Tom Green levels of scoring, which is what we've seen. Let me just move the camera to the other side. 1 second. Nope, that's not that one. That's not that one. That's the one. So if you look at Tom Green's scoring, Supercoach, you're making me look bad. Tom Green scoring, yes, he's been great. But season stats, scroll down, it's not being good. Like, he has 1 big score because it was a really contested game. And then after round 4, shit score, obviously shit score, okay score, shit. And look at some of these projections. Yes, Canelio and Kelly are coming back, which might help. But that's another 2 people that are going to take balls from him. It's not great. Tom Green needs to go. And my reasoning is with these players too. Well, I'll go through the rest of the team. But my reasoning is with these players is get them off your field while you can. Got what after this week it's round 14. Got 10 weeks of Supercoach. I don't want Tom Green in my team for another 10 weeks. Like, it's just not going to happen. Sullivan, as I said, did well. It'd be very nice to have Butters and Sarong on field. It's actually really quite interesting. This week, I noted to somebody, this week we had two teams missing. But I think a lot of my scoring comes from those two teams because like my average score this week was only 1950, and I think last week I scored 2200 and something. Yes, a lot of that was Max Gorn, but just overall, like missing out on a Butters, a Sarong, definitely, and a Luke Ryan, like really hurt. If you had a Dan Houston as well, mate, you're in a bit of trouble. Max Gorn, captaincy, very very happy there. Tim English, not very happy there, but we've got to keep him. I wish I had Grundy still, or a Tristan Cherry or someone. But, yeah, thanks. That was me. That wasn't you. Heaney 116, Zorko 95, fantastic. Zach Fisher is one who I'm very, very, very happy with. Yeah, very, very happy there. 120. Dylan Moore 89. Now this guy had his chances, missed a couple of shots, missed a lot of stuff late in the game. It happens. Hutchinson is who we brought in last week, and he scored a 40. And we actually had Freeger on field. And I thought heading into the Northwest Coast game that I had Harrison on field, but I did not have Harrison on field. So we have to deal with it that way. This week, as I said just before, the objective of this week, I've got 2 spots to bring in and 11 trades and enough cash gen on field. I'm looking at going Sexton to a primo, probably with a Garcia. I'm looking at going Sullivan plus Harrison to a primo with some extra cash. Next week is probably the plan. May that be a Freeger or not, just depending on how things work. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, we'll kind of take that as it comes for next week. So this week, we are going to offload Tuke Miller, Tom Green, and Closey. Now, a little bit of the reasoning comes into Tuke Miller has his bye this week, same for Closey, so Closey would be out anyway. I can facilitate bringing in a primo if I offload, let's say, a Garcia and potentially a Freeger. They're not going to be very good, and I can still get players in next week. And I'm hoping there's a few round 14 or some MSD players that get named over the next week or so we don't have to worry about donuts next week. Having a look at that, I want to bring in Kruger. He seems to be the one that scored quite well last week and looks to be able to score quite well. I think people are saying in the chat, people have said kind of the last week or so that with Mason Cox out of the team, he's one to bring into the team. And he should keep his spot, which is what we want. And then we are going to bring in 2 mids. Now, the 2 mids that I'm looking for, I can afford like 2 decent mids with this price. I can almost afford 2 guys that are 600k each, which is at this point in the season is fantastic. And it gets rid of some of these duds, some of these pointed different players. Yes, I've still got Walsh and Jack Steele and everything else there, but I just have to deal with it really. I am looking at going something a little bit left field. I think I don't want to jump on the train, but I'm jumping on the Errol Goulden train a little bit this week. I just think he's doing very, very well. And Sydney's run looks great. Almost having 100% time on ground, which is phenomenal. And, mate, he's just great. If someone like a Will Day, potentially I could bring in if he didn't have the bye next week. We just can't facilitate it. We need guys who have got the bye already. Now, the next player I want to bring in, I wanted to bring in Lockie Neal, which would have sat all my cash, but I would have been okay to do it. Only problem with Lockie Neal is he's very susceptible to a tag. Yes, his scoring's been great. His 3 ground average is bloody phenomenal. But it's the tag presence. And looking at kind of who the taggers have come up, if you've seen Fancast this week, you would have seen them. They talked about taggers and kind of the relevance of that in the AFL at the moment. It's really put Supercoach in a bit of a spin because these taggers just coming out of nowhere and primos are getting nullified. I mean, we've seen Green, we've seen Goulden, Tuke Miller, all these players get tagged every so often. Maybe not Goulden, but you know what I mean. Yeah, he's not one that I want to bring in. I'm actually going to bring in, I don't know how far down he is, but I'm going to bring in Mr. Josh Dunkley. Now, reasoning for this is I think Josh Dunkley's scoring has been solid. Probably not exemplary, but solid. And I think with Dunkley, 118 average will take it. Um, Lockie Neal's the one that's going to get tagged for Brisbane. Dunkley will just run through a tag. Maybe he'll play one-on-one with another player, but he's too good to be tagged, really. His type of role, he's not so much that burst player, but he just gets used all along the ground. And I'm very, very happy to have him in my team. So Josh Dunkley in my team. Let's go. So it looks like this is the team for this week. I'll move around a few players. Sullivan plus Harrison plus a 50 odd K is the trade I'm hoping to do next week. So stay tuned for that. Powell comes back after round 15, is my understanding. So there's 1 week of Sexton there in round 15, and then trade him out in 2 weeks. So let's press optimize, and we'll see what optimize does for us. I think Nick Dacos has to play. Hearing that he should play, like he's not going to be injured, so we don't need to worry about it. Landers, obviously, emergency doesn't work. And then, yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like at the moment. We're hoping that Garcia plays, but I don't think it's going to happen. So 4 playing in the front, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 this week. Looks like it's not too bad. Dacos obviously has to play, otherwise we've got 18. It's going to be a bummer if he doesn't, but we'll kind of tackle that as it comes. Now, Dowling would be someone else that you could 100% bring into your team if you wanted to. Guys, let me know down in the chat. Hey, Big J, how good does North Melbourne feel? Nice to have a win. These are the trades I'm doing for my team. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the content. Don't worry. We haven't forgotten about our players to bring in this week. We haven't forgotten about our captaincies or anything like that. But we're going to take it a bit easy. The last few weeks have been hectic, and we're going to upload those videos, record those videos after the live stream on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. Give you guys some content for Friday morning and whatnot that you can watch before the first game. I mean, Dane Zorko, vice captain, is probably the way to go at the moment. And I don't know if Supercoach agrees, but that's what I'm going to pick. Guys, smash that like button, smash subscribe, check us out on Twitter. All the information's above. Here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work, so you guys don't have to.